The United States has pledged hundreds of armoured vehicles, rockets and artillery shells to Ukraine as part of a new $2.5 billion military assistance package. The latest U.S. package includes 59 Bradley fighting vehicles, 90 Stryker armoured personnel carriers, 53 mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicles and 350 high-mobility multi-purpose wheeled vehicles. However, tanks, which Ukraine needs the most at the moment, were notably missing from this list. The announcement comes as countries of the Ukraine Defense Contact Group are set to meet later today. The nations will discuss boosting Ukraine's ability to confront Russian forces with modern battle tanks. The meeting at the Ramstein Air Base in Germany will discuss future weapon supplies to Ukraine, particularly of Germany's Leopard 2 tanks used by armies across Europe. Berlin has veto power over any decision to export the tanks, and Chancellor Olaf Scholz's government has appeared reluctant so far to authorize that for fear of provoking Russia. Meanwhile, Denmark has pledged to donate 19 French-made Caesar howitzers to Ukraine, including some still on order, following a slew of pledges of heavy weapons from Kyiv's Western allies. Britain plans to send 600 Brimstone missiles to Ukraine to support the country in its fight against Russia. While Sweden has announced a new package of military aid to Ukraine, the package worth $419 million, which includes armoured infantry fighting vehicles and the Archer artillery system as well. While these countries have pledged to supply Ukraine with more weapons, Kyiv's forces have already received more than 230 tanks from Poland and the Czech Republic. The UK has agreed to provide 14 Challenger 2 tanks to Ukraine. Other than tanks, Ukraine has received other forms of combat vehicles. The US has sent more than 2,000 vehicles, including mine-resistant ambush vehicles, as well as Humvees. The US and Germany are sending Ukraine an array of armoured vehicles, including 50 tank-killing Bradleys. Of course, this list doesn't cover the numerous missiles, drones, guns and other ammunition sent to Kyiv already. All of this comes after the Ukrainian president urged the West to supply Ukraine with more arms and ammunition as soon as possible, saying that this would help guarantee the security of Ukraine and Europe. As Kyiv fears that winter will give Russian forces enough time to regroup and launch a major offensive, Ukraine is now pushing for a Leopard battle tank. Now, these tanks are held by an array of NATO nations, but there's a catch to all of this. After Germany's approval, the transfer of those tanks will be possible. So the new German defense minister, Boris Pistorius, has a decision to make. He must decide whether or not Germany and other allies will send the Leopard 2 tanks to Ukraine. Ukraine's allies have been putting pressure on Germany to supply tanks. Pistorius even met with US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin mere hours after he was sworn in. During the meeting, Pistorius said it was NATO's responsibility to take action.
Putins entsetzlicher Angriffskrieg auf die Ukraine hat der NATO die Chance gegeben, sich als das zu erweisen, was sie ist, nämlich ein tragendes, ein stabiles Bündnis, das sich reaktions- und handlungsfähig gezeigt hat und weiter zeigen wird. Dafür bin ich sehr dankbar und insbesondere deshalb, weil dieses Fundament, auf dem die NATO steht und auf dem das Bündnis steht, eines ist, das sich an gemeinsamen Werten orientiert, an einer gemeinsamen Strategie, gemeinsamen Vorgehen und gemeinsamer Verantwortung.
Fearing the hesitation from the West, Ukraine says, quote-unquote, it's time to stop fearing Putin and send much-needed modern tanks to his war-torn country. And for more analysis, our correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent us this report from New York. Take a look.
As the war's first anniversary looms, so does a new moment of decision. Will the United States and Europe allow the war to grind on as a brutal stalemate, or will they provide Ukraine with enough military aid to take back its territory from the Russian invasion? And if not, what is the end game? These may be the strategic choices, the ones that may not be acknowledged aloud or publicly, but the ones that will be looming in the background when Ukraine's allies meet at Ramstein Air Base in Germany on Friday. The Ukraine Defense Contact Group, including 50 governments and U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, as well as Chairman of the Joint Chief Mark Milley, will attend. Their decision will set the terms of the war from the Ukraine side for the rest of the winter and beyond. Russia has shown no signs of letting up, and unfortunately there are reports that a new offensive is on the way. So far, the United States has received praise for keeping the coalition intact and together despite economic and military hardship. However, with the war dragging on, and if it continues to do so, that praise will soon turn into criticism, notably if Russia ultimately wins the war. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.
WION World is One is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.